Every single day he does this little song and this little dance about how excited he is. And
my biggest fear is losing a member of my family, because we are such a unit and so close that we're nothing without the other.
Say good morning.
Good morning.
You can plan and plan and plan and plan, but you just don't know until you're actually in. Parkinson's is really tricky. We don't know good days from bad days until you're in it. Isn't it scary? I always look at my parents as being so invincible.
The family saying in a statement, it is with more sadness than mere words can convey that we have to report that our beloved
Lost the man who, with his buddies, invented the whole genre of music that so many of us hold dear.
The time frame of where you're supposed to be doing something, you can't say.
Ozzy forever. Sir Elton John describing him as a dear friend.
People like that, make concerts happen.
We didn't even know if we were gonna get to Ohio for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
he is so excited that it's a boy.
And I don't know what to say, man.
People take me or leave me. I mean, I'm just Ozzy Osbourne, and I always...
Your support over the years has made it all possible for us to live a lifestyle we live.
He was the Prince of Darkness to the world, but to Kelly Osbourne, he was simply Dad. When Ozzy Osbourne passed away at 76, fans mourned the loss of a rock icon, but behind the chaos of metal fame, there was a softer, quieter story unfolding, one that Kelly had kept close to her heart, and when she finally spoke, the entire world fell silent in an emotional tribute that has gone viral. Kelly shared rare moments from Ozzy's final days, not just the heartbreak, but the beauty too, from a quiet breakfast with her son and father just 48 hours before his death, to the secret proposal Ozzy witnessed at his last concert. Her words painted a picture of a man the world never fully saw. This wasn't just a goodbye, this was a daughter's final love letter to the man who raised her, protected her, and left a mark no stage could ever hold. Just 2 days before the world lost Ozzy Osbourne, Kelly captured a moment that now feels frozen in time. It was a simple breakfast at home, nothing flashy, no stage lights, no music blasting, just Ozzy sitting quietly at the table, wearing headphones and softly tapping on a tablet while his grandson giggled nearby. In the video Kelly posted, you can hear her whisper, "Say good morning, Grandpa," and Ozzy, frail but present, looks up and smiles with a gentle good morning. That single word hit harder than anyone expected. No one watching knew it would be the last time he'd ever speak on camera. At the time, it just seemed like a sweet family moment. But now, it's become one of the most emotional final glimpses of a legend, unfiltered, unguarded, and surrounded by the people who loved him the most. But that was only the beginning, because what happened just days earlier made that moment even more powerful. When Ozzy passed on July 22nd, fans were left speechless, but it was Kelly's silence that spoke the loudest, until she finally broke it with a tribute that left millions in tears. She didn't just mourn him publicly. She opened her soul in a raw and emotional post. Kelly called her father the greatest man I've ever known and my best friend. She confessed that even though the world lost a rock legend, she lost something far more personal, a constant.
And he got medically cleared for the flight the day of the flight. So all of us didn't know if we were going until the day of. And he was amazing all weekend and had the best time, and he was so happy to see everyone and so moved and touched and honored by the whole experience, and it was just a genuinely great experience.
In her life, a voice that guided her through every storm. She wrote, "I don't know how to exist in a world without him," and you could feel the weight of those words. It wasn't for show, it was a daughter trying to process the unimaginable grief, love, and the overwhelming silence left behind by someone who was always loud, always present, but tucked between the lines of her heartbreak. It was a moment of joy Ozzy got to witness before he left, and it made everything even more emotional. On July 5th, just weeks before Ozzy passed, he took the stage for what would become his final concert, a massive farewell show in Birmingham, surrounded by friends, fans, and family. But behind the scenes, something unforgettable happened. Something only those closest to him knew. Backstage, after the performance, Kelly's longtime partner,
Good morning.
Is that me?
Slipknot Sid Wilson dropped to one knee and proposed, and Ozzy. He was right there, he saw it all despite the pain, despite the exhaustion. He smiled, really smiled, and gave his blessing with that unmistakable glimmer in his eye. Kelly later revealed this moment in her tribute, calling it one of the last true joys he got to witness. For her, it was a full circle moment, sharing one of life's most beautiful milestones with the man who raised her. And for Ozzy, it was a final memory, sealed in love and legacy. But even then, no one knew just how close the end really was, and behind that quiet smile, he was carrying more pain than anyone realized. To the public, Ozzy still had that spark, the iconic voice.
Worked their ass up for a year to get it all organised. And a guy called Tom Morello, who organised all the bands.
The playful grin, the wild soul that defied time. But behind the scenes, Kelly saw a different story, one of constant pain, quiet endurance, and a man who refused to let his suffering overshadow his family. Ozzy had been battling Parkinson's for years, undergoing multiple spine surgeries and struggling with mobility, yet he never once made it about him. Kelly said he would smile through the agony, sit at the table even when it hurt, and still ask how she was doing. His body was failing, but his love never did. In her tribute, she didn't hide the truth. He lived for us, she said, even when it hurt, even when it would have been easier to let go, he stayed for us. Those words cut deep, revealing a side of Ozzy that fans rarely got to see.
Hard to imagine any of this exists.
Not the rock star, but the protector. And while he kept his pain quiet, the world was about to get loud with love, grief, and memories flooding in from every corner of the globe. Each moment Kelly shared that final breakfast video, the internet exploded within hours. It was everywhere: Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, YouTube. Millions of people watching Ozzy's soft good morning on loop, realizing they were witnessing the final words of a legend. But it wasn't just views and reposts, it was grief, raw, overwhelming grief. Fans filled the comments with memories from their childhood, stories of how Ozzy's music got them through dark times, and tears for the man behind the madness. He raised me through my headphones. One fan wrote, I didn't know him, but I felt him. Reddit threads turned into living memorials. Twitter became a digital candlelight vigil, and Kelly's honesty, her willingness to show the pain, made it all feel personal. People weren't just mourning Ozzy, they were grieving with her. But while the fans poured their hearts out, one person remained silent.
A lot of people working to get this gig going for me, you know. My wife.
Until the world was ready to hear her roar. For 2 days after Ozzy's passing, Sharon Osbourne stayed silent behind closed doors. She was grieving in a way only a wife and mother could, holding together a family while facing a worldwide loss. When she finally spoke, her message was brief but packed with heartache. My soulmate, my protector. Those words carried the weight of decades spent together, the battles fought side by side, and the unbreakable bond forged through every high and low. But Sharon didn't want the world to mourn with sadness alone. She urged fans to celebrate Ozzy the way he lived: loud, wild, and unapologetically joyful. Honor him with music, with laughter, with chaos. She said that's the only way he would have wanted us to say goodbye. Her words reminded everyone that Ozzy's legacy wasn't just about the music or the darkness, it was about a life lived.
It was no different for us. One of the very first songs we ever performed as a band, when before we even had our name.
On his own terms, fiercely and fully. Osbourne isn't just mourning her dad, she's stepping up to safeguard his legacy. In her tribute, she hinted at plans beyond the heartbreak, a documentary, special projects, and tributes that will share Ozzy's story on a deeper level. She made it clear that Ozzy wasn't just a rock star with hits and wild stories, he was a man who made memories, built a family, and inspired millions. My dad didn't just make music, he made moments that live forever, Kelly said. With that promise, Kelly is preparing to lead the next chapter of the Osbourne story, making sure the world remembers not just the legend, but the father, the husband, and the man behind the madness. It's a new era for the Osbourne family, one that honors the past but looks fiercely toward the future. Kelly Osbourne's tribute wasn't just a goodbye, it was a vow to keep her father's memory burning bright, to share the man behind the music, and to remind the world that behind every legend is a family left to carry the love forward. And just a few heartfelt words and quiet moments, Kelly showed us a side of Ozzy Osbourne that no stage or spotlight ever captured: the devoted dad, the protector, the gentle soul. The story doesn't end here, it lives on, in the music, in the memories, and in the promise of a daughter who refuses to let the world forget this. To millions, he was a rock icon, but to Kelly, he was simply dad.